Only one in Fayetteville 3 times against Texas in school history, and the last time Texas came in #1 in the nation in 1981, but not for long. Len Ray Hines kick taken and down to the end zone by Tony Jones. And Peter Gardere, the redshirt freshman, and by the way, it is Gardere, not Gardere, his dad says, comes in from Houston Lee in his 3rd consecutive start. And along with Gardere in the backfield for the Longhorns will be Chris Samuels at the tailback. Winfred Tubbs and Jason Burleson will alternate at fullback. And Burleson is in the huddle right now with the fine receiving corps of Jones, Walker, and Cashin up front. Cunningham leads an outstanding offensive line, one that seems to improve every week.
Really important that they get off to a good start. They want to get confidence in their offense.
And they fake the end around. This is Samuels. Still haven't gotten him, and he's got a first down up near the 34-yard line. 14 yards for Samuels after they faked the give to Tony Jones.
Well, the fake was so quick, and they have to be aware that Tony Jones is that great running back. He has 4 runs, and they have to be aware of that. But this is just basic football. Just try to get around the corner. And he makes a nice cut back in there. Samuels is a heads-up player looking back inside, pick up every yard. That's what you want to do. You want to get confidence in this offense and take the crowd out of it. This is a massive crowd.
Tubbs is in now. He's the fullback in the eye. And Samuels again with a huge hole up the middle, and he is up near midfield. 15 yards this time for Chris Samuels, and another first down before Anthony Cooney, the weak side cornerback, made the stop for Arkansas. Up front, Long, Rowland, and Shepard. Will also see a lot of Tony Allison at one defensive tackle. Benson, Barrow, Thomas, and Mason in the 3-4. And the secondary is outstanding with James Williams Jackson, the converted running back, and Cooney, who just made the tackle. So they opened up 2 gaping holes already on their first 2 offensive plays. Flag down, early movement by Texas, and again, nice running room for Samuels. But they will apparently move back the 6 or 7 yard pickup. The referee is Frank Shepard.
Well, that's going to show you illegal motion against Texas, but what an interesting play on that one. They bring the wing back in and they trap on the middle linebacker. And there, of course, is a Texas must. What they must do to win. They have to maintain the confidence that they got last week, especially with that great win over Oklahoma. They have to slow Arkansas's great running attack. Arkansas coming into this game is averaging about 5.5 yards a carry, 340 yards a game, and of course involved Tony Jones more. He's been kind of quiet, and he's such a dynamic player.
And of course, as they double team him, that has led to the emergence of Johnny Walker in their passing game. This is Adrian Walker, the redshirt freshman from Tyler, and Bubba Barrow does not allow him the corner.
And that's the way you stop a sweep. Run it all the way to the sidelines, and when they run out of room, they step on the white stripe outside. Nice play there by Bubba Barrow.
First time they've tried to go wide since that opening fake reverse sweep. They've had the holes up the middle.
Yeah, they really did. Now it's going to put a lot of pressure on Gardere.
Second down, and we'll call it 16 from their own 44-yard line. And the straight drop. Open over the middle is Kerry Cash, and he can't find his feet.
Well, I was down on that turf, and the turf is it's a little bit slippery down there. It's a well-packed turf. It's not a new turf, so when he turned around, he just lost his footing.
Cash, of course, one of the twin Cash brothers, the juniors from San Antonio. We expect to see a lot of Keith today as well. And a gain of only 4 on the second down play. So 3rd and long. And the penalty really looming large for Texas after they had come out of the chute so well. Jones, the man in motion, and Gardere again straight back. Outstanding protection, and he's got Johnny Walker, and the Longhorns have another first down. The 33 of Arkansas, where Ty Mason makes the tackle after a gain of...
Well, he had all the time in the world to throw. Watch Walker come down there. He's just going to curl inside. He gives a little fake outside, and all he's going to do is curl right back inside. Now he's a big target because there's no rush on him. The defensive line, they elected to rush 3, drop 8 back, and there was no rush on Gardere.
This is how Texas opened offensively last week against OU. Walker, more big running room. And 8 yards on this first down carry. Again into the secondary, and Cooney called on to make the stop.
And boy, I'll tell you one thing, it has taken the crowd. The crowd right now is stunned. I mean, everyone, there's 50-some thousand people here, and they're all dressed in red, and they are quiet. They cannot believe that Texas has taken this ball from its own 20 and now driven to the 26-yard line of Arkansas.
And particularly the way they've done it. They're only the 6th best rushing team in the Southwest Conference. You would never know that from this opening drive. On 2nd and 2, Samuels cut back inside, first down. Tackle made by Mick Thomas, who's the leading Arkansas tackler. The sophomore out of Bakersfield, California, and the Horns continue to march.
Well, in talking with David McWilliams and, of course, his staff, they said the one thing that Gardere has in the huddle is that he's a leader. When he gets in there, he doesn't have that glazed over look like a freshman has. He's got the confidence, and he's in that huddle right now taking charge, saying, don't fumble, don't give this ball up. We're in great scoring position, and we are on a march.
His numbers for the year, took over as the starter a couple of weeks ago. They're glad he did. Samuels, this time they do stop him. They plug that hole, and it was Mick Thomas, one of the inside linebackers. And really, Dave, the first time they've done that.
It really is. It's the first time they've been able to stop him. One thing that Texas did in those first 3 or 4 runs is they sustained their blocks very well. It was a little bit slow getting in there, but they sustained their blocks. And when you sustain your blocks, that means that you've got that defensive man tied up where he can't come off and make that tackle, and that's why they were able to find the hole. Big play here, 2nd down. I know they have, of course, 2 more downs, but this is a big down. You want to get at least 5 or 6 yards on this play to put the pressure back on the defense.
And 3 wideouts with Walker and Jones both wide right. Now Jones into your picture in motion. And here is the end around, and there is where it will end. At the 33-yard line, his footing again becomes a problem.
Well, I talked about the turf being a packed turf. Someone told me yesterday, I can't recall who it was, but someone said they are going to replace this turf. But watch how wide open Tony Jones was on this play. Now, there's no one even near him. He just slips and goes down. You can see they had a great block out there. There was no one even close to him. Boy, that is a big play.
Jones this year has averaged 11.4 on his receptions, but on running plays, nearly 22 yards per carry. That's why they went to him there.
Boy, and it was there.
So they need 21 yards on 3rd down. Gardere again a lot of time, and he's got Kerry Cash. He will not have the first down, but they're in much better field goal shape at the 17-yard line. Barrow and Jackson converging for the stop.
And if Arkansas elects to run those three linemen up there, they're only allowing 3 linemen to rush. That big offensive line of Texas can certainly control them. You almost have to blitz somebody to get pressure on this young quarterback. You have to rattle him. Right now, they're not rattling him. He has all the time in the world to stand back there.
Clemens will try a 34-yarder. The angle is left to right. And out of the hold of Bobby Liljadal, he has got it up and good.
And the kick is good.
And listen how quiet the crowd is. You can hear whistles down on the field.
There are a few folks in orange, and you can hear them. And the Longhorns have come out very strong on their first possession here in Fayetteville. And you saw Foster is awaiting this kick. He's all the way up to the 10-yard line because Clemens kicks into that stiff breeze, and he rolls it. And picked up at the 20 by Juju Harshaw. Flag is down, so we'll have to see if the Razorbacks are going to hang on to this good field position at the 37-yard line.
Well, where that flag is down, you would almost think it was the receiving team offside because the flag is thrown right on the 50-yard line.
Well, it was the kicking team.
Oh, it was the kicking team that was offside. I was half right. Okay. And here's Kenny Hatfield saying, no way, no way. We'll take the ball right where we have it on the 37-yard line and be happy.
And Quinn Grovey into the Arkansas huddle, the junior out of Duncan, Oklahoma, one of the great running quarterbacks they have ever had here. And James Rouse, one of 3 1,000-yard runners in Arkansas history, along with Foster in the backfield. You saw the receivers, and here's their outstanding offensive line, led by Apolskis and Mabry at the tackles.
Boy, and it's a solid line. They play smash face football, just power football, come right at you. They don't try to fool you.
An I formation team this year. And this is big James Rouse, and he powers for 3 or 4 off right tackle. Ken Hackamack made the stop for Texas, and they are a little bit banged up on the defensive side, especially in the secondary. Steed is hurt, but he starts along with Allen, Hackamack, and Giles up front, and then the linebackers led by Brian Jones. The secondary has been scrambled. Stanley Richard is not with the team, ankle problem, so Barry and Bierman start at the corners. Van Malone also has opened in the secondary, and he is a true freshman. We'll also see Gunn and Graylin Johnson back there. Again, straight up the middle. Look at the hole for Barry Foster, and he's got the first Arkansas first down of the day.
Boy, that's just power football. Nice cut there when he cuts back, and you'll see when he finds the hole, it's really not at the point of attack. He cuts back to his left when he gets into the hole. Now watch here from the end zone. Right there's the play design. Now watch the good cut back. Sees that hole open up right there? That's the difference between gaining 4 yards of carry and gaining, as he does, 6.2, is that he has great vision into the hole.
5th leading rusher in the conference, and he has not played anywhere near an entire game because they have so much depth. Tight end Billy Winston was in motion, and the option pitch to Rouse, and he slides on that turf at the 48-yard line of Texas. We talked about what Texas has to do, not turn it around for Arkansas.
Well, Arkansas must take control early. They have not done that, but they allowed Texas to drive the length of the field, and I know that's a big concern. When we talk about dominate the special teams, we know the great field goal kicker, but there are also other aspects of that game: coverage, punt, and punt blocks, and of course rattle the quarterback, rattle Gardere, get him nervous out there, let him start thinking that, hey, I am a freshman, ain't I?
Hart checked in for Foster at the tailback slot. That was Russell in motion. Grovey on a roll. A lot of room. And finally, Anthony Curl knocks him out of bounds, but there is a late flag on what looked to be an Arkansas clip back near the 40.
Boy, and if you're an Arkansas fan, you're going to like it. If you're a Texas fan, you're going to question it, because you're going to see one. Maybe we can see on the replay. There's the call. It is clip against Arkansas. It looked as if Grovey, and you can see Kenny Hatfield out there saying, now wait a minute. Watch on the right of your screen here. Watch right here where he turns back on him. Right there is what they called that. That's the clip that they called. Well, that's a tough call.
That was Barry Foster.
Yeah, and it's a tough call. You see, he was running with him side by side, and then when he turned, he really didn't knock him down. But the referee and he's in the right position to make the call.
There's his crew along with Shepard. We've got Bill Anger, Bob Jones, Ron Underwood, Rogers Redding, Bill McClure, and Ron Murphy. Each team now victimized by a major penalty after they'd shown the early ability to move the ball almost at will.
And this really changes the complexion of this drive, because all of a sudden you start thinking it's second down now. It's about 18 yards, 16, 17 yards to go. And all of a sudden you can't run the ball twice and pick up 17 yards.
Arkansas with 2 tight ends along with Billy Winston. Steve Hudson is checked in. Only one setback. That's Foster. Grovey on play action again, flushed out. And Brian Jones and Paul Bierman chase him out, and the Hogs want a late flag, but they won't get it.
Oh boy, they did. When a quarterback is running out of bounds and he eases up when he hits that white stripe, usually you don't touch him. They felt, watch this as he hits that white stripe. Now watch him just kind of relax here. Now he's still in bounds, and he kind of gets shoved. That's not a real vicious shove, but boy, those coaches reacted like it was. If you're from Texas, you think it is. I mean, if you're from Arkansas, you certainly thought it was.
Grovey's got to be wondering. They call him out of bounds at the 44, so 3rd down and 15. They need the Texas 41 to keep the drive going. Horton is wide to the left. Russell at the top of your screen to the right. And again, Grovey rolling. Good protection. Ball is intercepted by Anthony Curl, the freshman from Aldine MacArthur.
For great concentration. Grovey threw this ball up, and really when he was running, he didn't get the velocity on the ball that he wanted. The ball was tipped up. Now watch right here. It's going to be tipped up. Good concentration, looking back on the ball. There's the interception.
Arkansas not a turnover-prone team, but they've given it up. Big interception by Anthony Curl has given the Horns the ball at their 35-yard line. We talked about Arkansas. Over the last 5 years, they lead the nation in turnover ratio. They're only +1, however, this year, and it's Texas which is doing the better job.
Right. That's the difference when you fumble and throw interceptions as compared to when you get interceptions and recover fumbles.
This is the first college carry by Lamell Foreman. The thought was that they would redshirt him. He was one of their top recruits out of Del City, Oklahoma. 6 feet, 185-pounder. And one of the top running backs in all of America among the high schoolers last year. But they've got him in there, and he has a pickup of 3 yards on first down.
And when you're in a game like this, in a rivalry like this, you pull out all the stops.
Jones is to the right, Walker to the left. And Kerry Cash in motion. Once again, this is Foreman. I love his speed. He's got a first down and tripped up, or he would have had 6, but another flag is down. This one back at the line of scrimmage.
I didn't even see this one. It looks like it's going to be holding. Oh boy, that really hurts Texas' drive. Instead of having the ball at the 45-yard line of Arkansas, first down, they're going to be backed up way in their own territory. Well, that is a big, big penalty.
And penalties have been the controlling factor in this game so far.
They are the killers on offense. People don't realize that, but most teams, most offensive teams stop themselves with a penalty or with a mistake. Let's see if perhaps we can see this. Look on the right side of your screen. And let's see who we have here. It looks like Chad Rowland, 51, got held.
Well, Patrick McFarland is the center for Texas. Dwayne Miller, Jeff Boyd are the guards, and it was high blocking that caused that penalty. Foreman again. Not much. 32, maybe the 33-yard line. And Mason and Thomas, those very active inside linebackers, combined on the stop. Arkansas defensively second in the conference, and overall 13th in the nation. They allow only an average of 267 total yards per game.
Boy, are they good on third down. When we talk about third down conversions, this is about third down and 12. This Arkansas team has held their opponents to only 28% conversions on third down.
Samuels is back into the backfield along with Tubbs, and here's Gardere having to make it up as he goes. That ball almost intercepted by Curtis Banks. In between Cash and Jones, really hard to see who the intended receiver was for Gardere.
Gardere had hesitation on this, and that he thought about running, then he thought about passing. And you see him getting up with Tony Jones. Good move there by the young quarterback to turn around and say, hey, get open, wave those hands, and let me know where you are on a scramble.
Bobby Liljadal, second leading punter in the conference. Tim Horton is the deep returner for the Arkansas Razorbacks, standing at his 28-yard line. And into that win, this will get a Texas roll. And downed by Jeff Higgins at the 29-yard line. We'll see the Arkansas offense for the second time. They trail here in Fayetteville as we play midway first quarter. Early over Michigan State. And again, the option pitch, and look at the running room for James Rouse. Van Malone spills him out of bounds after a gain of 9 yards. Malone, as we said, a true freshman from Houston Waltrip.
Well, did you see Rouse when he turned that corner? I'll tell you one thing, he put his head down and he was motoring around that corner. You know, he's under a lot of heat here because he's got all these backs that are coming up here. Gosh, he's got freshmen, he's got sophomores, juniors. They talk about a stable of backs. They really have them.
Yeah, when the year began, he was listed second team behind a redshirt freshman, E.D. Jackson. Now that's reversed. Foster turned away at first, and now we'll have to see where they mark him. Only needed one, and Dwayne Duncombe, the strong side linebacker, came up along with Oscar Giles.
It's tough to run up that middle. You have Duncombe in there, you have Hackamack, Rocky Allen in there, Brian Jones. They've just got some strength in that middle. That was probably the biggest question coming into this game, is whether Grovey could get outside, and if in fact he got outside, it would loosen up the middle and allow them to run those power plays up the middle. But if he wasn't able to get outside, it was going to be tough football all day up front.
Extra blocker in with the second tight end, Lindy Lindsey. He's in motion. They try Foster, no problem. First down. 42 of the Hogs before Anthony Curl grabbed it.
Well, they just love this football. Now, you think Foster's going anywhere? Look at that stance. He squatted, got all his feet, slides over, and watch this. Just put the head down, get that first down. Third down on the foot, and again, Arkansas with that great conversion record. How many times they convert third down into first down?
53%. Is that an amazing
number? That is amazing. Most teams, if you're at 40%, you're really doing something, but they convert 53% of their third downs into first downs.
Again to Rouse on the pitch, and again Malone comes up to make the stop. But they're pretty much one-on-one on both of those option turns on the corner. Grovey one-on-one, and then after he makes the pitch, one man, in this case Malone, has to make that tackle or he's gone.
Exactly right, and I can see that they're going to try to stop Grovey quick. They're not going to try to put pressure where they allow him to run down the line, fake the pitch, and turn up. They are going to stick him on the end of the line, and that's what they did that play. Make him pitch the ball as fast as you can so that when he pitches it, it's about 3 to 4 yards deep in the backfield and then recover.
E.D. Jackson makes his first carry of the day, and they trail him. He stopped at midfield. Lance Gunn came up from strong safety. E.D. Jackson stands for Edward Donald, unless you play with him.
Yeah,
in that case, it stands for extremely dangerous.
I think it is extremely dangerous. I'm talking with Kenny Hatfield. He said he may be the best one we've had here in a long while. He said he is really something. Kind of got nicked a little bit early in the season, but boy, he is a football player. Only a freshman.
First game, 97 yards. As you said, a little bit banged up, but they like his prospects. Third down, 2. All over Grovey. Quick pitch. Here's Jackson. First down to the Horn. 44, a gain of 6.
Boy, and Texas gambled that time. They thought that Foster was going to get the ball on that quick handoff, and I mean Foster got smashed in there. Watch when he turns to his left. Watch number 18. Boom, right there. Great choice by Grovey to pull the ball out and flip it wide.
Well, we've already seen a lot of Van Malone. His first serious playing time against Oklahoma because of the injuries in the secondary. And he's been in on about every other stop here. Cedric Fillmore is in motion. Grovey again chase, lets it fly. It is too tall for Tim Horton along the sideline. Good coverage over there by Mark Berry. Bo Robinson, 45, was the man putting pressure on Grovey.
Boy, that was interesting to see Robinson to run with Grovey. Grovey's got that great foot speed. When he ran out there, he didn't run away from Robinson on that play.
Well, the knock on Grovey his first 2 years, and it's a strange situation, was that they didn't think he was much of a passer. And you look at him, his first 2 years, his career percentage was just under 63%. So I don't know how he got the knock, because he disproved it every week.
Well, they always say that about running quarterbacks, because they said they would rather run than they would pass. But he certainly is not he's a great runner. He's a pure quarterback as far as passing, too. He's got that good foot speed to run, and he's got a strong arm.
Derek Russell made that catch and then immediately dropped for a loss of about 3 yards. And Grovey says, boy, that should have gone for more than that.
Well, he threw the ball behind him, and that's what happened on that. You say drop for a loss, he kind of dropped himself a little bit, and that ball was a little bit behind him. That's a slip screen. Big decision here, third down. You're inside the 50-yard line. You've got to get some offense going. This is a big play for Kenny Hatfield and his staff. They don't want to lose this momentum. The longer you allow Texas to lead in this football game, the more disadvantage you're at, especially if you're the home team when you want this crowd behind you.
Grovey on the roll. Here comes the rush, lets it go, and Todd Ringo, the interception. They will mark him down at the 2-yard line. Quinn Grovey, second interception of the day.
This ball just gets away from him. It's a floater. You can see good coverage there. Just looks the ball in. That's Todd Ringo, and he just looks it in. Now he runs it into the end zone. His momentum didn't take him into the end zone, so they're going to bring it out to the 2-yard line.
Turnover number 2 by the Arkansas offense, but they've backed the Longhorns up. It would have been hard to get a punt as good as that. They have the Horns back at their own 2-yard line after the interception.
Absolutely. Great field position for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
So Winfred Tubbs straight up the middle for a couple. Tubbs, one of those true freshmen in the backfield out of Fairfield. Chad Rowland, the nose guard, a junior from Sherman, Texas, made the tackle.
You don't want to put a lot of pressure on your freshman quarterback, but this is a great position to throw in. You run that play action into the line, try to hold those linebackers, and find that short crossing patterns to pick up one of your wide receivers or your tight end sneaking out of there. And he's got a couple big targets in his tight end in Cash.
The full house backfield behind Gardere. And Samuels leading forward up to the 7-yard line, so that'll set up a 3rd and about 5.
Now this is where you got to stay low right here, and you can see Mr. Shepard gets a little bit high, Mike Shepard there. He's trying to fight across the face, and he kind of takes the wrong angle on that. You've got to get underneath that lineman. You've got to be able to control him. Good one, Mike Shepard. I guess it's Michael. That's the way they had it listed on my program, Michael.
We'll go with Michael.
All right.
Horns had a couple of big 3rd down pickups on their first drive. Not here, and that will be called down. No fumble, no Arkansas touchdown.
What a force by the cornerback on this play. You want to see what force is? The first thing you have to do is you have to come in and take out the lead blocker. Couldn't tell if it was Cooney or whether it was James. I didn't see who it was, but boy, he comes in, takes out the blocker, and boom.
Patrick Williams.
That is. It's Patrick Williams. Well, this is a great play. You come in, you take out there. There's the fumble recovery, but of course it wasn't a fumble. But watch again to your right of your screen. You're going to see Patrick Williams come in there. He's number 24. Take out the interference and take down the running back. That's where you get the stars and the Razorbacks on your helmets and things like that. That's just a great play.
And you've heard it a million times, but that was one where the ground cannot cause a fumble. Chris Samuels was down at the 7.
I was a little bit surprised on that play selection. I thought, again, it's a good place to pass the ball, but you just don't want to make a mistake in this situation, put pressure on your team.
And Arkansas has called timeout here because they want Texas to have to punt into the wind. There's 33 seconds to go in the first quarter.
That's a smart heads-up play because the wind is, what would you say, probably 10, 15 miles an hour.
I would think at least that. The flag is stiff down there on the sideline, and so they'll have Tim Horton standing at the Texas 42, and there's an even better look at the wind. Lil Jadal about 8 yards deep in his end zone.
And I remember when we were down on the field, I watched the punters punt with the wind. With the wind, they were punting 50 yards. Into the wind, they were punting about 30 to 35 yards. So we'll have to see the result of this choice.
Boy, a long count, and now Lil Jadal will loft it up. That's off the side of his foot. And this is disaster for Texas. Look at the roll inside the 10-yard line. That is a punt of 0 yards, but a flag is down on the sideline.
Well, it's a flag. It's along the line of scrimmage. Oh boy, if this goes against Arkansas, they will have a. I didn't see what the signal was.
Offsetting. That play is going to stand, it would appear.
Watch this ball when it comes off the foot. This is the worst nightmare for a punter. And Lil Jadal's a great punter. It just comes. Look at the angle of the punt. The way it comes just straight off the side of his foot. What a decision here by Kenny Hatfield to call that timeout, to make him fight, to punt into the wind. Not only the advantage, of psychological advantage, and it worked.
So here's Grovey, first down and goal to go. E.D. Jackson, touchdown Arkansas.
You talk about capitalizing, that's capitalizing on a mistake. In every football game, there are certain plays that you capitalize or you don't. And when you capitalize, you get the results. And the results of this play were 7 points.
3rd touchdown run of the year by Jackson. Todd Wright is 19 of 20. He hasn't missed any field goals, but he has missed 1 PAT. High snap is handled, and the kick is good.
Watch this hole that E.D. Jackson just runs through. It just bursts up the middle. There he is, just takes the handoff. Now look at the hole that just opens up. Boom, doesn't even get touched. So he just jogs into the end zone. You watch the hole just to the right now. Good block there, good double team. Right there, kick out, and look at this. Gets behind his blocker, and you can just see he just rolls into the end zone.
A little lean to the left is what set it up, and then the cutback. And E.D. Jackson has put the Hogs in front for the first time. 21 seconds to go in the first quarter. 7-3 Arkansas here. Elsewhere on our Dr. Pepper Roundup, Tennessee has come back in that battle of the top 10 unbeatens in the SEC. Still Illinois by 7, and TCU with a 6-3 lead over D. Dallas and the Air Force Academy.
That is a surprise. TCU, if they're able to hold on, they would really beat a good Air Force team. Run Arkansas, yowling continuously out of the Ozark Mountains.
He wins the vocabulary award. Not much on the drive, not much needed after that net 0-yard punt by Bobby Liljadal, and how out of character that was for him. He's been one of the top 2 punters the last 2 years in the conference.
Absolutely. Comes into the game averaging almost 42 yards a kick. Even a bad kick, 30-35 yards for him would have been a long way.
Speaking of long ones, Glenn Ray Hines Jr. drills this one way back, and Chris Samuels downs it with the Horn offense now set to march from their 20-yard line. There's Hines, his dad, of course, one of the great Razorbacks in their history.
And pro players. Of course, Glenn Ray Hines played with the Saints for a number of years. And great follower of his son. He has really enjoyed him.
Well, they had taken the crowd out of the game. And what did Ken Hatfield tell us yesterday? He thought the punting game, the kicking game would decide this thing.
Yes. He thought that winning the kicking game was the big factor in this football game. And with the wind like that and the psychological advantage.
Adrian Walker did burst up the middle for about 8. Then Floor led the Arkansas contingent, and that should be the last play of the first quarter.
A lot of things to think about. The drop, the foot action, and kick it downfield.
2nd and only 2. Play action for Gardere. He will run it. Chad Rowland denies him first down yardage. Very mobile nose guard. There's Tony Allison, who is also chasing Gardere.
That was a nice move by the line, down the line to stop that run.
One thing that Lynn Amity, the offensive coordinator for Texas, likes about Gardere is he says at any point on game day you can look at him, you can talk to him, and you never get the impression that he's nervous at all.
I know. He said that Gardere came up to him this morning and said, "Hey, how you doing, Coach?" He said, "More importantly, how are you doing, son?"
3rd down 1, Gardere, timeout. Well, whatever he saw, that was a rather veteran type decision to go ahead and call the timeout. 3rd down situation. Keith Cash in motion. Pitches to Adrian Walker, first down as he leaps over the 30. And then about 3 more.
Adrian Walker carried.
Here's the way the stats look after 1 quarter. And the yards passing, the only negative really for Arkansas. They did throw the 2 interceptions, but they more than made up for those by cashing in on the bad punt. Texas holding the ball twice as long is also interesting.
And a lot of it in that first drive when they were able to drive down and get in great field position for that field goal. But you were right, that 1 interception was almost better than a punt.
The way it worked out, it was.
Yes, very much so.
Gardere, the underneath passes there for Kerry Cash. Arkansas's plan today is to give him those underneath passes and just don't let the speed of Walker and Jones get free long. Cash also pretty fast, but he's normally better down around the goal line where they can alley-oop the ball to.
Boy, how many times have we seen Kerry Cash go up for that alley-oop then when they get down inside the 10-yard line? But I think the big thing for today for Gardere in Texas is to throw underneath those short 5 to 7 yard curls, just like that pattern, and don't try to challenge. Every once in a while you have to challenge downfield with a Walker or a Jones, but keep it simple and be very patient in your offense.
Adrian Walker cut back up to the 41-yard line. That'll set up a 3rd and short. Scott Long, the defensive tackle, freshman redshirt from Benton, Arkansas, on the tackle.
And Long there, number 80, excuse me, is known more for his sacking. Good play right there. That's what you want to do. Hold, control your offensive lineman, and once you see the break, use him to push him away and move to the play. That's a heads-up play. He's a good football player.
He is their sack leader with 6 for the year. 3rd down, 2 needed. Gardere, option keeper, ball is free. Arkansas recovers. Nick Thomas, after Chad Rowland had made the hit on Gardere.
And this is the one, if you're Texas, you wish he hands it off to the up back, because the up back goes right through there. Now watch right here. You'll see the footing slip. See the footing slip, and there's the ball just tipped and falling right out of his hands. He doesn't come back. Heads up play there by Nick Thomas. Only a sophomore, transferred in here. I believe he's one of the junior college transfers.
And he leads them in tackles for the year. So again, the Hogs set up in great shape, and Grovey barely hangs on to it as Shane Dronette came hurtling over his head. I would think we're deep enough into the game where nerves shouldn't be the problem.
No, once you get that first hit and you get that first contact, you kind of forget about all the outside parts of the game. It's just played down there on the field. But I think the thing that happened with Gardere is that his feet, he lost his footing. And when he lost his footing, he realized he was just trying to make short yardage and tried to stretch and make the first down. Got hit and fumbled the ball.
So on 2nd and 14, 2 wideouts, Horton and Russell, and Foster coughs it up. Big scramble. Horns say they have it at the 38, and they do.
Gosh, this is uncharacteristic of both these teams.
Ken Hackamack comes away. Curtis Thrift in motion from tight end, and Gardere wants it all, going deep, has his man, and Tony Jones has put Texas back in front.
The most amazing thing I see of this play is Gardere's just walking off the field. Everybody's slapping him. He's just walking off the field like it's a walk in the park. That is amazing. You have to keep those defensive secondaries honest, and you do that with that long play. And I'll tell you one thing, the last 10 yards of that play, Tony Jones showed that he might have that 4.2 speed that everybody talks about, because he just sprinted away from the coverage and burst to catch that ball in stride.
Michael James was the cornerback he beat for his 2nd touchdown catch of the year. Now Wayne Clements, out of the hold of Lil Jadal, adds the extra point. Lost it against the Hogs last year. Clements now kicking with the win, and Foster will not run it out from 3 yards deep. Hackamack got it started, gave him the position, gave him the possession to get the lead. And a flag is down on that kick up at the 43 of Arkansas.
I remember last year looking at Hackamack. He was about 6'9", about 285 or so, 290, and everybody said, oh, wait till he grows up. He grew up. Now he's 6'10", 305 pounds, and still looks pretty thin.
Yeah, they've had to change his dimensions just since the press guide came out. That will be declined. It was illegal procedure, Arkansas. Texas says we'll let him start from the 20. A series that always seems to go down to the wire, even though the Arkansas line today had them favored by about 14 points.
And my question right away is, what's Hackamack doing over there sitting drinking Kool-Aid? They must have brought in Tommy Jeter.
He's earned his rest, and that's exactly what they've done. And James Patton is in at the other defensive tackle. Rouse and Foster in the eye behind Grovey. This is Foster. Good first down yardage. He's up to the 26, and a couple of freshmen, Shane Dronette and Anthony Curl, need the tackle. Foster, a Texan out of Duncanville, the leading rusher for the 2nd straight year.
Hard to believe he has not been stopped for a negative yardage yet. He hasn't been caught in the backfield, and he's carried the ball coming into this game 63 times. That just shows that when he turns, plants, and gets upfield.
They keep a stat about that we'll talk about in a moment. That's Fillmore in motion. Rouse this time. He may be gone. Bierman and Gunn giving chase, and Rouse is knocked out of bounds inside the 25. 49 yards for the senior from Little Rock.
I can tell you, when I saw Rouse run earlier, I thought he ran with a different vigor, and he does on this. Watch the cutback. That's where the hole is. Great vision we talked about earlier. Now look at this. He's a fullback. He's 225 pounds, and he's running out there with the secondary. And automatically, quickly, Texas makes a defensive change and brings back in Hackenmack and Rocky Allen.
E.D. Jackson in to give Rouse a breather. He stopped for maybe a gain of 1 by Hackenmack and Mark Barrett. The Razorbacks running backs coach Larry Brinson, the former Dallas Cowboy, says that Jackson and Rouse, two of the best he's ever seen, and also Foster, at yardage after contact. He keeps a stat. He looks at the films and he sees where they're hit first and then how much yardage they pick up. He says Foster and Jackson are two of the best he's ever coached.
And he said that with Jackson, he said, I can yell and scream at him and get right down on him, and boy, he never whimpers, doesn't do anything. He just comes right back and plays solid football.
Hogs go with 3 wideouts. Option pitch, Jackson stopped at the 16.
Big series here. This is where, if you're a Texas fan, you've got to hold them to a field goal. Don't allow them to get in. This is, again, that third down conversion that we've talked about. Look at that update. That is really a shocker to me. TCU over Air Force, 13-3 in the second quarter.
Ironic that Air Force runs the wishbone. TCU goes to the air with their triple shoot, and we'll see them next week in Waco take on the Baylor Bears. What a wave of confidence a win today could give them. Third down, and they need 4. They need the Texas 13. Quick rush put on. Ball delivered and caught. Tim Horton has it first down at the 9.
What a story in Tim Horton. 5'9", 177 pounds. His dad, one of the most successful coaches, and I think he's at University of Central Arkansas. Tim came here to play, and boy, that's just picture perfect. Great pass. Look at the plant. Quick out right there. Not the best trajectory on the ball, but he looks it all the way in, picks up that first down.
Only the second completion for Grovey today, and the first for positive yardage. Remember, Russell lost yardage on his catch. 11th reception of the year by Horton, their leader in that category, and their first down and goal to go. Blitz look put on by Brian Jones. Jackson gets nowhere. They stack him up.
I can tell you, if you don't stop Grovey at the point, on the corner, and he gets outside and he has that run-pass option, he puts tremendous pressure on those cornerbacks. You don't know whether to come up and try to stop the run or to drop back and hold and stay on your coverage.
Checks the cheat sheet there on the wristband.
Well, what that is that what they do is they give a number to the running back who comes in, or in that case it was Billy Winston, comes in and says play 7. He looks down on play 7 and he can call the play in this situation.
Play 7 is the option roll into the end zone, and Winston has it for the touchdown.
Play 7 must be to Billy Winston. He said, just throw it to me, I'll be open. He came across the back there and just was wide open.
Second touchdown catch of the year for the nephew of Dirt Winston, the former Arkansas and Pittsburgh Steeler grit. And so the seesaw game goes back to the Razorbacks, and Todd Wright, out of the hold of Gary Adams, will try to give him another 4-point lead. And it is blocked.
I think I saw Hackmack's hand come up there, but there's a flag down on the play.
We'll have to see if it will stand. It looked like Hackenmack who got a hand on it. Offsides, Texas. They'll kick again.
Boy, and that could be a big play. I think Kenny Hatfield was right. This kicking game is so vitally important. A lot of people overlook that. We heard all about the great field goal kickers on both teams. Both are good field goal kickers. But to block an extra point and then give the team the option to kick it again can really change the complexion of a football game.
That ball had a very low trajectory anyway, and it doesn't take much elevation by Hackenmack at 6'10" to get a piece of it.
Well, they flood the middle. They put their big men in the middle trying to get penetration up the middle, and that's where you mostly block them. It
does cost Texas. By Grovey to Winston.
And I think they may have Tony Jones back returning.
They do.
That is a surprise. The reason they don't have him back there a lot more is they don't want to lose his great offensive threat.
He's going to get it. If he can pick up the bounce. Tough bounce from his 3-yard line. Got a nice block by Dion Cockrell, but only his own 8.
Well, he's exciting just getting out to the 8-yard line. All the footwork. And look there, I was kind of holding my breath thinking, well, he's going to break one. Well, they got great coverage. Well, he's going to break one, but went down on his 8. And that's just good special teams work. It plays such a vital part of the game. I remember the days in football when the special teams were just all the big guys lining up and punting the ball. And today, it's about 1/3 of the practice is practicing on special teams, the kicking game.
Credit the good kick by Hines, the tackle by Mark Bell, and Texas in the eye. They give Adrian Walker out across the 10, not much more. Nick Thomas with another stop. What do we got here?
Go Hogs high, Mom. Mom is at the...
And Mom needs money?
Mom needs money?
That's a twist.
What's that say? Love Moo? Send money to Mom.
Well, the magic of television.
Some people do anything to get on.
Gain of 2 for Adrian Walker. So in the passing set now, they've got 3 wideouts to the right and 1 to the left, and Gardere looks right and has Johnny Walker very close to what he needed for the first down. He may be the length of the ball shot. Michael James and Patrick Williams made the tackle.
You can see this ball. This is how the quarterback looks now. Watch the protection. Big protection up front there. He finds him out in the flat. This is just put your head down, get everything you can. They come up. It looks as if it's going to be just about, as you said, a foot short. Big 3rd down play. You don't want to give the ball back to Arkansas. They now have momentum. They are really rolling along here.
In the full house, Jay Burleson, the best man they have to get 1 foot or so, because he's 6 feet 5 inches. He can lean forward and get a couple yards normally, and he's got the first down here. Burleson, the redshirt freshman out of Sherman.
Well, that's 2 times in a row that Texas has had that terrible field position on that punt when they were down on the 1 or 2 yard line, and now they only run the ball out to the 8. That's a long way to drive for an offense to recover from that. You like to get the ball out near the 30, 35 yard line so you can kind of be a little bit more relaxed in your offensive attack.
Walker, the man in motion, and Gardere will run this one. Wrapped up, though, at the 21-yard line by Mackenzie Phillips, a sophomore from Springdale, Arkansas. He's the son of the former Outland Trophy winner, Lloyd Phillips.
I remember Lloyd Phillips, and if his son is the kind of player that Lloyd Phillips is, he'll be a great one. Of course, Lloyd Phillips came out in that class of, I guess it was about 67. We all came out together.
You dated yourself. We've been waiting for that.
Well, was that 1967, right?
Phillipson backing up Michael Shepard on that tackle. Gain of only 1 for Gardere. Looks to the sideline. Catch is made for the first down by Walker at the 32-yard line. He's gotten so much more activity this year as defensives have double covered Tony Jones.
And I looked at Adrian Walker. I think the ball it looked like it was intended to him. Watch Adrian Walker turn, and there you have in the back Johnny Walker, number 1, who turns and makes the catch. But a nice throw over top of the coverage and back inside.
What a quandary a defensive coordinator would have. Who do you give double coverage to?
Well, both those outside wideouts, both Walker and Tony Jones, deserve double coverage. So what they've elected to do is try to play a zone and give the short pass and protect against the long one.
Adrian Walker, the cutback pickup of about 5. Ken Benson and Mick Thomas. 2 of the very active group of linebackers for Arkansas with the tackle.
The one thing that I notice in both the teams' plays here are they both have very solid offensive game plans. Run the ball, run it. Don't run that wild play where you're going to lose 15, 18 yards, or don't throw that threatening pass that can be intercepted. It's a very solid game plan, and that's why they've been successful. Both teams are utilizing their strengths. They're not gambling, so to speak.
We like a 5-yard gain on first down, and that's what Walker got. This is Lamell Foreman. He's got 4.4 speed. He's got to turn it up. And Cooney prevented a touchdown at the 37 of Arkansas.
Boy, nice dip by Foreman. When talk about a dip, that's where you dip into the line and hold that linebacker or that corner that's coming up to make the catch. Make the tackle. Now watch right here on the right, you're going to see. Now watch the good block right there. Great block there by his wide receiver. See both receivers in the white? Great blocks right there. There's another block coming on back. That's the way you free up in the secondary. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. Receivers get great credit when they watch the films, when they make downfield blocks like that.
When Texas failed to recruit Robert Strait, who went to Baylor, Lamell Foreman helped ease their minds a little bit when they signed him. You saw why. On play action, here comes the blitz. Gardere has it off. He's got Jones inside the 20-yard line, and another Texas first down.
And I wondered whether Gardere could hear Ken Benson coming on the backside of him, because number 42 leveled Gardere after he threw the football. Watch Gardere. Now watch coming from your left side of your screen. You're going to see number 42 coming in here. Boom. But he just finds Jones right in that little seam, that little pocket that's just a natural pocket on zone coverage. You run that curl at about 10, 12 yards, and it's just a natural pocket. And look at that record there, 8 of 9.
This is a freshman. Gardere, the inside give, and Burleson bouncing off Ty Mason up to the 15-yard line.
Pretty good ad-lib that time by Gardere. Did you see that? He came out wrong, didn't panic, just turned around and said, "Now where are you, Burleson?" And just handed the ball back to big Jason Burleson.
When you see that, no coach in the world can take credit for that. That is in the genes, and he is a third-generation Longhorn. His dad had a one-play career. He was hurt on the very first play, broke his neck as a sophomore, and that was the end, although the neck injury thankfully healed, and he's fine today. Foreman bobbled the pitch and may have lost one. Benson was all over him.
And this is where Arkansas really gets tough right here. You're going to see the Benson just jump across the line. Just boom, right there. He's right across the line. His job is to turn it back inside. He does an excellent job to turn that play back inside. Don't let it get outside of him. If it gets outside of him, he has no pursuit. Everybody's running after the play. Did a fine job on that defense.
Third down, 8. They need to get inside the Arkansas 10-yard line. Benson on the blitz. Gardere lets it fly. End zone knocked away, but a flag is down.
I want to tell you how close that came. Tony Jones had a great shot. We're going to have to find out what the flag is, but Tony Jones had a great shot to catch that football.
Curtis Banks is the man that deflected it at the very last instant. That ball is inches away, and the penalty is against the Hornets. Illegal man downfield against Texas, caused by that extra scrambling time for Gardere.
Yeah, I believe Cunningham thought that Gardere was going to scramble, but a good move there by Gardere to gather his senses and realize that he wasn't going to be able to run it downfield. He was going to have to throw the ball, and he just kind of gathered his thoughts quickly and still had a chance to complete that ball. Now the decision there is, of course, it's a loss of down, the lineman downfield, I should say. And it's going to bring up a fourth down. And about, well, if they decide to not to take the penalty as they do, it's going to be about fourth down and about 8.
Now let's see if they perhaps missed a penalty here. Jason Burleson trying to prevent Benson from sacking Gardere, and I would say
that is definitely holding. Yes,
that might have.
But that wasn't the call. But that wasn't the call on the play.
So a 34-yard attempt by Clements, who has already hit one today.
We're going to get a good picture of it as it goes up.
Plenty of leg right through the middle.
Turn one.
Well, he may get a chance on this one. Nope. Down to his knee, 5 yards deep. We have yet to see a kick return from that end zone. So down to 3 minutes and 3 seconds in the first half. 14-13 Arkansas. They have taken turns leading this game, and a big defensive series here for the Hawks to keep Texas from regaining the lead by getting into the end zone.
And everybody talked about the big shootout, and there's the big shootout.
Biggest game in Southwest Conference history. A lot of people would say the best game in college football history, although not many of those folks from Arkansas. And in 1989, they both come in as the only unbeaten teams in the conference race, so whoever comes out of this one today is in control in the race for the Mobile Cotton Bowl. We'll talk about that race with Jim Williams, president of the Cotton Bowl Association, at halftime. Foster, big gainer up to the 35 on first down.
Just the thing about that game, I think that we've had such a strong discussion in our production staff. We have, of course, Johnny Tyus from Arkansas. He's going to root for them. You know that. And of course, David Handler being from Texas, Lee Friday from Texas, and you're from Texas. I mean, we had to walk down to the 13-yard line where that famous catch was made.
We're on a historical setting here, but we're professionals. Remember that.
That's right.
We've seen a great game on first down. Grover, the option pitch to Rouse. And 13 yards after Foster went for 15.
I want to tell you, I have seen James Rouse run before. But I noticed on that first run, when he put his head down, he was really running hard. And I notice that now. He is just running with it. It almost looks like he's a different runner. He's not picking his hole. He's just exploding into it. Look at that. That's just dead out running. I mean, that's just as hard as you can run.
E.D. Jackson and Juju Harshaw are the setbacks. And Grovey, looking over the middle, has got Tim Horton. Their third straight big gainer. 21 yards on the pickup to the Texas 31-yard line.
Boy, and as Grovey just delivers his ball, boom, he step throws a rope, and Horton just finds that seam, again, right in that little curl area. The first thing you think is, why can't you defend that curl area? But it's a natural seam between the deeper coverage and the shorter coverage. It's just a natural seam in there, and that's the way it's designed to be run. Quarterback throws a rope, just a burner. Curler just takes it and boom, looks it right in and catches it.
E.D. Jackson hit hard as he got inside the 30 and then leaned forward. Boone Powell was the man on the tackle at the 27-yard line.
And you have to be a little bit aware of the clock. You've got 25, you've got a minute and 45 seconds you'll have before they run this play, maybe even less than that. They're out on the 26, 27-yard line, and they're predominantly a running team. With 2 timeouts left, they better utilize those timeouts to the best of their advantage.
Jackson got 4. Grovey, option keeper. Got only a couple up to the 25. Hackamack and Jones turned him back inside.
We've talked a lot about E.D. Jones, but let's take a look at Brian Jones, number 60, playing off, sliding along right here, comes back. You get that arm on some of the best tackles that you'll ever make, or those one-handed teardowns. Boy, they're not in any hurry to run this clock. We're going to be under a minute here in the second. Well, maybe they're happy just to have a field goal.
Boy, how big a touchdown would be if they can manage. Option pitch again. Jackson nowhere to go. He's going to be about a yard shy. And the team that has not missed a field goal since early last year apparently set up to have to think about trying to get their streak up to 34 in a row. But a timeout has been called as they will discuss things with 39 seconds to go before halftime.
And interesting that they called a timeout with 39 seconds on the clock. If you're going to call a timeout there, usually you let the clock run all the way down. They may, in fact, try to go, run the fake field and go for it. You never know on this team. They've had such success with the field goal, it's almost an automatic 3 points, which would put them up 17-13. But they quickly called timeout with 39 seconds left. And usually you run it down to 4 or 5 seconds and then kick it.
Well, Todd Wright this year, 10 for 10, after Kendall Traynor made his last 23 last year. So the team has the record of 33 straight field goals. If Wright hits one today on this 4th down situation, it will be Arkansas's first here in Fayetteville since 1981, when they beat the #1 ranked Longhorns 42-11. Greg Horn missed 3 field goal attempts in 1984, and that was when Jeff Ward hit 5 and they won 15-13.
And this is not an easy kick. There's the coaches up there. That's the brain trust up there, as they say. But this is not an easy kick because it's from the left hash mark, so that normally a soccer kicker has that hook when he comes off there. It's not an easy kick. It's going to be from the hash mark. It's not straight in. Just surprising that they called timeout with so much time left to give Texas a chance to get the football back.
Wright, the redshirt freshman from Stillwater, Oklahoma, will try it out of Gary Adams' hold. 40 yards with the angle to the right. made, and Billy Winston has it, and let's see where they mark him down. They may have a first down.
This may be the biggest play of the year.
And this is an instant replay of what Texas did on their extra point last week. That is amazing.
What a heads-up play. Watch this. The ball's going to be bounced right back to him. Now watch Wright pick it up. He knows he can't get outside. Shuffle passes it forward. Winston comes down with it and in enough room to get the first down. Maybe they did know something about that. There's the block. Now watch Wright here. I know I can't make it. I just flip it up there. Billy Winston, first down. Oh boy, could this be a big play.
First down gain by Harshaw with that much time remaining, but a flag is down, so they stop the clock at 23 seconds.
And Lance Gunn didn't retaliate on that. This is going to be an interesting. This flag was thrown in an altercation between an Arkansas player and a Texas player. And the Texas player looked as if he didn't do anything afterwards. However, I think the flag was thrown early. Let's see what the call in fact is. There it is, dead ball, personal foul, and it's against Texas.
And he's been ejected, so we'll try and pick up who it was.
Well, in fact, it might be Lance Gunn. He was the one who got shoved pretty hard. He may have done something beforehand in order to necessitate that. Yes, it is. He's going off the football field. Boy, it's hard to lose your starting safety.
Boy, they're so depleted back there anyway. And so Grady Cabness, a true freshman, a great one, they feel will be one of the best secondary players ever at Texas.
Boy,
one of the few backups along with Bubba Jacks, and then they saw Todd Ringo get banged up as well.
See, what I think he's saying there is I got hit and then I retaliated, and they saw that. That may be what he was in fact saying. It's hard to speculate, but he has in fact been thrown out of the football game.
Bubba Jacks is the man that has replaced Gunn.
23 seconds left.
And before they come up to the line, the scoreboard was incorrect. I'm not sure if that is why the officials didn't let the. So it showed 1st and 3. Of course, it's first down and goal at the 6. And how big that blocked field goal ending the streak of 33 in a row now looms. What a weird game. We've seen as much weirdness as was in Texas, Oklahoma last week.
And what a heads-up play by Wright to throw that football. That's got to be the play of the day so far, to throw that football. Have the forethought just to throw it. He didn't throw it like Garo Upremian did he?
Thankfully for Arkansas, no. Rovey on the roll, into the middle, wide open, but knocked away by Bubba Jacks, the man who just came in for Lance Gunn. It looked like Winston had his second touchdown catch.
Oh, he did. That ball was just delivered perfectly. Now watch Jacks come back in here. Just get a hand in there. Look right there. Just a hand in there to knock that ball away. Again, watch it. Grovey pulls up here, finds Winston in the back of the end zone, and watch the hand come in there just to knock it off. That's what you call an all-out play. He was stretched out as far as he could. And that young man says, hey, there's no drop-off when I come in here.
Second down and goal. Here comes the rush. Flag down. Grovey down. No, still going. And Quinn Grovey is in, but let's see what the flag means.
There's several flags down. And Texas they are waving their hands.
You always think holding or illegal procedure. At the line, that's what it was. Only 11 seconds before halftime.
And if this is one of the big ones, this takes it back from about the 5 or 6 yard line. It could take it back. It's going to be a legal motion. Look at Kenny Hatfield's reaction. Boy, now the big play. Now the big play, Dave, is whether you call a running play and try to get a quick timeout. They have one timeout left, or you throw a pass, but you only have 11 seconds, so you've got to call a quick timeout if you don't score.
Here comes the blitz, and Brian Jones is all over Quinn Grovey. So much for that idea. He seemed to have a touchdown on an end around and then fumbled the ball. Samuels is hit by Nick Thomas, who had a strained neck and had to sit out part of the second quarter. Also in on the stop, Tony Ollison. Samuel's getting a lot of first half action along with Adrian Walker and Linnell Foreman, who played for the first time today. Not quite the depth that the Arkansas running back position has, but it's a position that's even without Eric Metcalf probably deeper than it was last year for Texas.
Well, it is when you think of Burleson back there and his talent's only a freshman. Tubbs is another freshman. They have some good talent upcoming.
Gardere to the sideline, and the open man is Walker for a first down at the Arkansas 37-yard line. Anthony Cooney with the coverage, and again Gardere able to find the open man underneath the zone.
Well, in that first half, Gardere was 8 of 10, as you said, with 142 yards. Of that 142 yards, he had 116 of those yards to Walker and Jones. So that shows you where he will continually go to the wide outs as long as they give him a cushion like that. When the defensive back plays that far off, you can throw those 10, 12-yard outs and curls very easily.
Kerry Cash in motion on the ground. Nowhere for Samuels, and he does well to get all the way up to the 36-yard line. May have lost one. Michael James and Ty Mason were there to bring him down. Interesting when talking about the Arkansas secondary, they average allowing only 150 passing yards per game. Texas is already above that with that completion one play ago.
But this is a strong Arkansas defense. They play an excellent team defense. There's no one outstanding star like they've had in the past. An Atwater back there. They are all consistent, good football players. They play a team concept, and that's why they've been so productive with their defensive statistics.
No gain on first down, and play action on second for Gardere. Again to the sideline to Walker, and again a first down. When do they start to have to make an adjustment on that?
Well, who do you double cover? That's the big question. You've got Walker on one side who's got outstanding speed, and you have to give him a cushion. You have to give him distance. Watch Gardere find him right there. Boom. He had his choice then. He could have picked up Kerry Cash, but he saw Walker downfield a little bit more. What you have to do is you either gamble and try to get pressure on the quarterback and scare him, or else you drop back and try to cover. There you are. There's the passing per game.
Gardere taking what they give him. That's what Lynn Amity wants him to do. Adrian Walker stopped as he reached the 45. Only about 2. Owen Kelly, Tony Ollison, Ty Mason, all right there on that tackle.
I looked down there and Chad Rowland, the nose tackle, was saying, I was held. And when he pointed at the referee. He said, look right there. And he had his arm wrapped right around he had someone's arm wrapped around his leg. There's a Texas fan, wasn't it?
I'm not sure he had the score right, but if he's a Texas fan, he had to hook them wrong.
Late score.
A 1 week late score. Second down and 9, and the double reverse, and Jones with a 4.2 speed turns it up, and now outside, and would appear to have a first down. But they like for him to get at least 20 or 30 on that. That's about what he's averaged on the ground this year.
Well, this is good backside containment. When I talked about the team concept, you've got one player that has to turn it in. You see him right there. I think it was number 57. That's the outside backer. He's got to turn that play in. If he lets it get around him, then you pick up the 20, 30 yards. But that's team concept. Everybody has a responsibility. Everybody plays their responsibility, and they played it very well on that play.
Jones has averaged 22 yards a carry. He got the here. And now Adrian Walker's turn. Good blocking, cuts it up. Nick Thomas held him to a gain of only 2. So evidently, whatever neck problem he had, he's worked out at halftime.
Quarter. Well, that would be a morale booster for TCU.
Again, the underneath pass. Kerry Cash got inside the 30. And Shannon Wright, one of only 2 true freshmen playing for this Arkansas team. The Arkansas Defensive Player of the Year last year at Fort Smith made the tackle. This is going to set up third down and a long 4.
Well, it's been a long time since I've seen Gardere miss a pass. He has got several in a row.
11 out of 13 for the day for 175 yards for Gardere. Rolling on the rush, Gardere. Walker juggled it and made the grab at the 14.
And Dave, the hardest pass to catch or hardest pass to throw is when you're running to your left, as Gardere is. He runs to his left and throws this pattern. Again, see the curl right there on the 15-yard line. The defensive secondary dropping deep. It's a two-deep zone, and he's just picking them apart.
He had a 5-yard pad. Now, you got to be closer than that if you're Michael James.
Well, Arkansas usually lets you catch it in front of them and then comes up and they make you pay for it. They'll let you have those little ones.
On first down, Samuels trying to knife back toward the middle. He got near the 10. Good mixture of the ground and the air on this drive.
Well, it's a good game plan on both coaches. Both coaches utilizing what they do best. That time rolling Gardere. I didn't know that he could throw that well on the run. Running to your left, it's hard to throw for a right-handed quarterback because you have to throw across your body. But he drilled a bullet in there.
Well, he was known more as a passer than a runner in high school. One of the top 3 or 4 yardage-wise in high school history in Texas. On the option pitch, there's some room, and Samuels managed to stay up after he almost slipped at the 11.
I don't know how he stayed up.
I don't either.
It looked as if he put a hand down or something, because his feet had definitely slipped out from underneath him, but he gained his balance to instead break maybe even. Watch right here. You see the feet go out from under. There goes the hand. No knee touching. And then explodes through a little hole, picks up 3 or 4 more yards. That's the sign of great. Again, that leg strength, those quick legs, you get those feet up and down. It's not a trudging type of thing like you would think of a lineman.
Well, they mark him down at the 7, 3rd down and 3 to keep the drive going. And it is Samuel again, and on second effort, where they mark it will depend, but he looks like he's got a first down and goal at the 3-yard line, and he does. Tough inside.
Boy, that really surprised. Now watch this coming right at you. Watch Samuels. Boom, he gets hit here now. Good cut back in the hole. Now he almost gets the ball ripped out here. Now watch him stretch. That's just what you call, that is just hard football.
And then Aaron Jackson looked like an inadvertent grab of the face mask. Too many bodies around, evidently, for the referees to see. First and goal at the 2. And it is Keith Cash trying to leap into the end zone. The wide receiver playing running back here. Nolan and Mason kept him out.
Well, we know about Keith Cash, the football player. We also know about Keith Cash, the basketball player. And that time he got up. Looked like he was going to dunk it for a second, getting up in the air.
You wish that they gave you the stat on his vertical leap.
It's quite a leap. He's got excellent. He's got just excellent spring. This is just power football. Punch it in.
Tubbs, touchdown.
Touchdown, Texas.
And David McWilliams is saying we're going to go for 2 after the touchdown by the freshman from Fairfield.
Well, if he goes for 2, that'll give him a 21 to 14 point lead. 6 points. If he goes for 1, it's only a 6-point lead. If he goes for 2, it's really, it's not really a real gamble, because you need at least a 7-point lead. Then you put the pressure back on Arkansas. What do they do the next time they score? Notice I say the next time they score.
You have to assume that they will. Only setback is Samuels. Jones there in motion. And the give straight up the middle, and Chris Samuels almost standing up as the 2-point conversion. They stretch out the line, and he punches right through the middle.
Everybody thinks pass on that play. Now this is the touchdown. This is just power football. This is Tubbs up the middle. Big person up there, 240 pounds, 6'5". Freshman, he just barrels in there. Here's how well you did against this team and how well the other team did against them. You can throw it all out the window when you play this game.
Well, Foster had it judged about right, but it bounces away from him, and he better down that ball because it's live, and now they finally get the touchback. Back to what we talked about earlier that Arkansas had to do.
Well, they had to take control early. They really have not done that. They've never taken Texas out of this football game. Dominate on special teams. Well, they had that play, but they didn't capitalize off it. And they certainly have not rattled Peter Gardere. He has just had an exceptional day. Gardere sitting out there, and you see Quinn Grovey's statistics, but Gardere coming down and leading his team here. Gosh, 12 of 14, 191 yards. It's not a freshman.
Not much of a freshman. Doesn't act like one. Rouse and Foster in the eye. Grovey with the pitch to Rouse. And the first man to hit him was Rocky Allen. He may have stretched forward for 1 or 2.
But I'll tell you what great teams do. Great teams, whether it be Texas or whether it be Arkansas, always answer the call. They always answer. You see the statistics under Gardere, 12 of 14, 190 yards. But great teams come back and they answer. And this Arkansas team is a great football team. They didn't get to be where they are ranked nationally. So they just were lucky.
No, you're not lucky if you win 16 out of 17, as they have, and there was early movement, and we'll see whether it was Mark Henry, 65, or Rocky Allen who moved first. It was Henry.
Against Arkansas. 5-yard penalty.
See, you continually put pressure. Arkansas, they react and they work much better when they're in that second down and say, maybe 6 to 10 yard range, 6 to 8 yard range than they do when they come up and they're looking at a second down and 12, 14. It almost automatically takes the run out of the game plan.
They've been good in the last couple of years because they've been able to do it when they wanted to. One key today you had to figure was whether they had to pass or whether they chose to pass. They keep it on the ground. And E.D. Jackson got a couple, and then immediately a fired-up Texas defense drove him back.
And if they don't convert this third down, we may see the first punt. Believe that, the first punt by Arkansas. They haven't punted today.
Now, we talked about the third down prowess of Arkansas. They averaged 53% for the year. Their opponents 28%, and they've needed about the same amount on third down. Arkansas is about right at their season percentage.
Well, this is a big one.
Straight drop, and Grovey has a look, and he's got a freshman, Ron Dickerson, but he didn't get near the first down yardage. Ron Dickerson may be their biggest offensive recruit out of State College, Pennsylvania. How'd the Nittany Lions let him get away?
Well, his father is a coach there at Penn State, and he let the decision be his son's. He said, son, you go where you want to go, and the young man chose the University of Arkansas.
Ron Dickerson, an outstanding high school running back, and his dad also was roommates in college at Kansas State of the Razorbacks' strength coach, John Stuckey. First punt of the day for Alan Meacham. He's been a little bit banged up, hasn't practiced in a couple of weeks. Samuels from his 35 is flung forward for a gain of about 5.
And they may do a double coverage wide out, run the safeties, both the safeties, to pick up Walker and Jones on the outside, but the running game is still there.
Chris Samuels spinning inside the 41, maybe the 42. Ty Mason hit him first, and then Michael Shepard. And don't forget, later on today, Dave and I will be selecting the Coors Player of the Game at the conclusion of today's telecast, so please stay with us.
This is an important series. You know, every series, you hate to say that this is an important series, but Arkansas needs to get the ball back and need to take control of this football game if they're in fact going to be successful. They cannot allow Gardere to take them back down the field again.
This is Lamell Foreman. Not much, maybe one. Curtis Banks and Tony Ollison made the tackle. And meanwhile, on the Arkansas sideline, their all-conference defensive tackle being worked on. Michael Shepard had a banged-up shoulder and now walking back up and may go back in just from the looks of things. His backup is Mackenzie Phillips. Only one on each of the first 2 on this drive by Texas as you look at Shepard. So third down and 8 needed. They're a pretty good third down team themselves today. Gardere has Samuels, who does not get the first down. Ty Mason wrapped him up before he got to midfield, and then Aaron Jackson helped out.
And they put some pressure on Gardere for the first time. They were able to get pressure up in his face, and they're going to have to, in fact, punt it away. Now watch the pressure here. You're going to see number 70 and 51. That's a loop in there. That's Chad Rowland, and I don't know who that is. That's Mackenzie Phillips. Excuse me. I shouldn't say who that is. But that's Mackenzie Phillips. They did a little loop in there, and they got up in his face and caused him to throw that ball quicker.
Will Jadal involved in the first big play on the 0-yard punt, setting up E.D. Jackson's first Arkansas touchdown. This one, a perfect nose down spiral and a fair catch by Tim Horton at the 14.
There, Texas on the other side saying we can stop them.
James Rouse stopped on first down after he got to the 15. Rouse with the big 51-yard gain to set up an Arkansas touchdown in the first half. Only 2 other Hogs have ever gained 1,000 yards in the season. Ben Cowens did it 3 times and Dickie Morton did it twice. And that's a little surprising when you consider the long history of great running backs that they've had here.
Well, you talk about long history. They have a long list also of running backs. When you stop and look at the running backs that they have in their backfield right now, they've got 6 running backs that are class running backs, could start for most college teams.
Give up the middle, and there is that yardage after contact by Barry Foster that we talked about. Foster almost never goes down on the initial hit.
Very compact, 5'10", 220 pounds. He's just a compact player. Now watch this. Now here's the contact. Boom. Now how many yards does he get afterwards? Look at that. Boom. Doesn't fall back. Referee, get out of my way.
Got about 8, it looked like. And Arkansas set up first down now at the 24. Ackermack and Duncombe finally able to make the tackle. And limping off, another Longhorn, looks like Rocky Allen, who saw his season end in this game last year when he injured a knee after high 12 tackles. Foster this time sat upon, only maybe a 1-yard gain.
Now what Arkansas is trying to do is they're trying to get that established running right up the gut. Try to hit Foster 2 or 3 times in there, so you tighten down the linebackers. All of a sudden when you pull it out of Foster and you go wide, you've got that pitch option.
Well, we'll wait and see if we get word on Rocky Allen. That position was the most banged up for Texas last year. This year it has been the secondary. 3 wide outs. And they keep it on the ground to Foster, and again he drags tacklers forward to the 33. Brian Jones down there along with Boone Powell. Right past the initial defensive surge by the line and into the linebacker area.
Well, that tightens it up right there. That's what you try to do. You try to run that thing right up the gut here. Now watch right here. Give it to Foster. Boom. Now look right here. Bam. You can see he's just pulling away. See and that's, well, look at that block in the background. Boy, that was a decleater in the background, whoever got that hit.
Big play here on 3rd and 1. And again, 3 wideouts. Grovey, quick pitch, bobbled, and Jackson is stopped for a loss. They had such success through the middle, they decided to go wide this time, and he almost coughed it up.
Well, watch how quickly Grovey has to pitch this ball. Boom, right there, I have to pitch it. You see how quickly he was getting? And he just didn't have time to lay it out there softly. He had to drill the ball out there. That's one thing that Texas has been able to do. They've been able to stop Grovey at the corners and make him pitch that ball. And Grovey's rushing statistics are nothing like they were last week.
Shane Dranette made that hit, causing the quick pitch. Second fumble by Jackson today. And the second punt by Alan Meacham's a good one from the 25. Samuels up to the 38. Not great speed, but he knows 54 in the 3rd quarter. And Gardere again to the side. Tony Jones caught it inbounds. First down, Arkansas 44.
Boy, it's a good thing Jones had those fast feet, because he was backing out of bounds. And watch the feet once he catches it. Has to have 1 foot in bounds. There it is. He's got 1 foot in bounds and steps out of bounds. Again, that sideline pattern, those curls, and you just keep on giving. That's a tough defensive play, but you have to respect that speed that they have at their outside wide receivers.
On the draw, loss. Adrian Walker stopped by Chad Rowland, who was at home in the offensive backfield. He's got 4 sacks this year. Michael Shepard, by the way, okay after getting the blow on the shoulder, and he's back in the game.
Well, those front linemen for Arkansas have certainly played well. Allison with 17 to 20 tackles, I guess it is, and Rowland with over 20 tackles. Michael Shepard with 26 tackles. They've played very strong football up front versus the run. But now they have to get past, they have to get rush on the quarterback. You've got to get pressure on him. It's definitely a pass situation.
Jones over the middle, big hit, Knocked into his own man, Kerry Cash, but he hangs onto the ball, and another Longhorn first down. This one to the 27. Michael James delivers the blow here.
This is a crossing pattern in the middle. Watch right here. Make the break and bend to the post. You see it right there in the middle? Now that was man-to-man coverage that time. That's not bad coverage. But Gardere is really on. I'll tell you, it's been a long time since I've seen a quarterback, any freshman quarterback, complete 15 of 17 for 233 yards already. He is just having a marvelous day.
All they want him to do is take what's given, and that's all he's done today. Although almost perfectly.
He's very calm back in there. You just don't look for that in a freshman.
Just his third game as a starter. First down and 10, Adrian Walker. There was a gap. He ran into his own man, and he'll settle for a gain of maybe 4 yards. Walker still alternating with Chris Samuels at the tailback. Mason for the Arkansas tackle.
You know, if my stat man doesn't betray me here.
Kirk McCarley would never betray anyone.
If he doesn't betray me, I don't think Gardere has had an incompletion in the second half. And he says that's right. Thank you, Kirk. Boy, that'll show you how Gardere concentrated on the ball. He never saw Patrick Williams. Watch this. Patrick Williams is going to be coming from the right of your screen. Look at Gardere. Heads up play there by Patrick Williams. That's a big loss.
Co-leader in interceptions in the Southwest Conference last year. Williams, from the rover position, caused a loss of 12 yards.
Boy, instead of looking at a second down and 10 or third down and 10, now they're looking at a third down and 22 yards to go.
Well, you wondered when they'd start to gamble.
They did that time.
And it paid off. And Gardere is going to head to the sidelines.
And 349 yards rushing on the ground, and they are not today.
Third and 22. That may have been the biggest defensive play of the day by Arkansas. No blitz here, and Gardere looking for Tony Jones, knocked away by Michael James.
Boy, and Tony Jones had the corner. I mean, he was open going to the corner. The ball is just a little bit underthrown. That's the movement to give you the fake pump. Now watch right here. Look at Jones. He is wide open, and watch Michael James, number 7, go up and tip that ball away. Now this is coming at you. Now watch, you'll see Tony Jones in the bottom of your picture. Look how wide open he is. There's the coverage coming in there.
That ball is just underthrown.
Yeah, that's all. That's the only reason that it's not a touchdown.
So Wayne Clements will try a 42-yarder. He's 2 for 2 today and make it 3 of 3.
And he inches up at the corners, make them pitch it early, and they certainly have done that so far.
Pitch to Foster. Anthony Curl wrapped him up and drove him out of bounds. They went to the short side of the field that time, and he ran out of room. Again, Dave and I will select the Coors Player of the Game at the conclusion of today's telecast, so please stay with us.
Well, some good candidates out there. Right away, you have to think of Gardere. You have to think of Tony Jones and Walker. Then you have to think of some of the Arkansas players. Rouse, who's had a good day.
Arkansas on third downs today. They came in 53% for the year on third downs.
You can see that they've only made 3 of them. Is that correct?
They need 4 yards. And Grovey has it to Derek Russell at the 38. Make it Tim Horton with the first down yardage.
Boy, this is a nice play. Horton just does a crossing pattern. You're going to see him at the top of your screen. Now watch. Plant and come right across the line. He's got the first down yardage, and Grovey just delivers a strike. Look it in, make sure, just get down. But we don't oftentimes give Grovey the credit. Probably he doesn't receive credit that he deserves, but that's as well a ball as you can throw.
Arkansas with a big first down. Juju Harshaw, the off-tackle run gets him about 5. Haven't seen that much of Harshaw on the ground today. It's been mainly Rouse, Jackson, and Foster, but Harshaw would start and would star for a lot of teams.
Oh, boy, he is quite a football player. We've watched him for several years a year. He's got one of those 6-yard plus average carries. One of the things that compounds Arkansas's problem as they face 11 and a half minutes left in this fourth quarter is that they are not usually a fast-scoring offense. They're more of a methodical, grinded-out type offense.
Grovey denied that option pitch that time. And it was Bo Robinson with his second big play of the day. On that catch a couple of plays ago, Tim Horton limped off. He had been bothered by a sprained knee the last couple of weeks, and they are looking at him on the sideline for Arkansas. That would be a big loss if he can't come back in. Hackamack is out of there for Texas. They've got big Tommy Jeter, high school All-American from Deer Park, in along with James Patton at the defensive tackles. Here is 3rd down and 6. And Grovey, a lot of time. Derek Russell has the first down in Longhorn territory. Berry and Jax saw him cut inside, and again the Grovey pass is right there.
Oh, it is. And what he does is he's going to just come down, establish his position, run the defender off. Now stop and plant, come underneath. And you can see he turned the defender all the way around. Now just hold on to it and get down. But let me tell you what Grovey did that time. He stepped up and looked as if he wanted to run.
So far today, and just an incredible show by the Horned Frogs over Air Force, led by D. Dallas. They're up 27-3 on their last report against the possible Heisman Trophy winner. There's the quarterback comparison. They were down to 1 second on the 25-second clock. That's why they burned the timeout. And now Grovey just gets away from Jeter and has time to look. And that time is gone. Brian Jones all the way back at midfield made the sack.
Grovey wanted to pull that ball down and wanted to find Cedric Fillmore on the far side. Now watch the footwork of Grovey. He doesn't think this turf is slippery. There goes one down. This is surprising right here. He breaks away on that tackle. Now right here, pull up, see if you can find Fillmore. All of a sudden Fillmore's covered. Oh boy, I got to pull it back down. And there's Brian Jones to say hello.
3rd sack of the year for the transfer from UCLA, and now 2nd down and 18 needed. Grovey again with time over the middle. Has Horton out of bounds at the 20. And the knee must not feel too bad. 29 yards for the senior from Conway, Arkansas.
Boy, that crossing pattern has been open for him a lot of times. You're going to see Horton. He's going to be at the top of your screen coming on that same crossing pattern right there. You see him wide open right in the middle on about the 32-yard line. There's Fillmore gets a good block in there. It gives him an extra 5 or 6 yards. But all of a sudden, Arkansas was faced with an almost impossible situation, and now Grovey has completed the pass to get him at 1st down.
Quick give, Harshaw. He carried a couple of tacklers forward for a yard or two, and Hackamack is back in there. He helped out on the tackle.
Well, you've got to go for it in this situation. You've got just 9 minutes left, 9 minutes and a few seconds left when this play takes off, and you've got to come away with something on this drive. This is imperative. You try to get that field goal. You try to get the touchdown, settle for the field goal only if you have to.
Still on the ground, Foster had the early hole, and then Anthony Curl filled it. He got inside the 15. 3rd down, and call it 6. Fake was to Harshaw. Grovey on the keeper. It's going to be very close. Oscar Giles popped him from behind. Quinn Grovey back in there and appeared to be ready to go for it on 4th down and a short 2.
And you remember what happened last week when Texas stopped Oklahoma deep in their own territory twice.
Barry Foster, touchdown Arkansas.
What a play call by Kenny Hatfield. What a play call. If he doesn't pick up that 1st down and doesn't get points out of that drive, he's got everybody second guessing him. But he goes for it. He does what he thinks he can do best. That's run the football. They pitch it out. They go to a man who averages 6.2 yards per carry, has not been stopped behind the line of scrimmage all year, and they come up with 6, possibly 8 points.
And you mentioned the key, not stop for a loss all year. So the odds when you go to Foster are he's going to pick it up. It's his 6th touchdown, and they go for 2, trailing by 4. It is Foster. He does not get it. Mark Berry got him low, and Brian Jones got him high.
And that same thing could have happened on the touchdown run, but it did not. Foster took that pitch. Grovey's going to go down the line to our left, pitch the ball. Foster just cuts back. Nice cutback right there. Picks up a couple blocks and just goes in the end zone for a touchdown.
Although Lynn Amity said they didn't want to have to use him there because he had one of the stars, Stacy Simmons, at Florida last year, knocked out for the season on a kick return. From the 13. Nowhere to go.
Oh boy, what coverage. I want to tell you, when he ran up there, there was just a mass of red shirts covering that play. He got that ball on about the 11, 12-yard line, and I don't know, he made it out to what, about the 20. Boy, oh boy, that's great coverage. And now this crowd comes alive.
Look at those numbers. But the situation is now so terribly different for him with the crowd doing this.
Oh, it's a totally different game. Now you can hardly hear your signals with this crowd.
Gardere has to keep it. And he's got a first down. But you know what? He had Tony Jones wide open and gone if he had time to find him.
Well, he tried to run a rollout action, and he had two defenders in his place. Watch this fake action. Now watch, he has two defenders in his face there.
Look at Jones, top of the screen. Nobody picked him up, but Gardere didn't have time.
And I thought he wasn't a runner. He just picked up a big first down.
But Arkansas ought to be breathing a sigh of relief for what might have been. Adrian Walker hit hard by Ty Mason, the sophomore from Decatur, Illinois, and a gain of about 3 yards. Adrian Walker this year, a nice 5.2 yard per carry average. Good ball control back. There's our situation in Fayetteville, Arkansas. 53,000, louder than they've been all afternoon.
They're all standing up for the first time. Everybody in the entire stadium is standing up. It's like they've saved all the cheering for now.
Walker nowhere on the draw. Michael Shepard was not fooled.
It's hard to believe that you can save all that exuberance for 3 quarters and about 7 minutes. And I'll tell you one thing, you're going to know very quickly whether Gardere picks up this first down. It's 3rd down and 10. And the crowd yell will tell the story.
They have blown the whistle, and Texas took too much time. But they'd rather have that than the fumble that they almost had.
Well, I don't think he can hear his signals down there on the field. When he came up to the line, it looked as if he was trying to call an audible, and I think he was yelling it out 2 or 3 times and just could not hear it. There's a dead ball call, delay a game, 5 yards. Now it's 3rd down and about 16 yards to go.
Well, you think we were in the Kingdome as loud as it is here.
Oh, boy. That's what I say. They've saved it all up for this one big play.
3rd down and 15. Jones to the right, Walker to the left. He's got Kerry Cash, who is very close for a first down.
Oh, boy. How did he find Kerry Cash over the middle? He had to jump over top of, it looked as if he had to jump over top of Chad Rowland. Watch this right here. There's 51. Look there. Now watch Kerry Cash come right in the middle. How did he ever see him? There was Rowland right in front of him with those big arms up. He finds Kerry Cash, who's 6'4". Maybe that's why he found him.
Rowland at 6'3", trying to provide that screen. But Gardere again makes the play, and it's 1st and 10 again. Horns at their own 45. Adrian Walker, Horns going conservative on first down on this drive. And of course, the clock is in their favor and continues to roll inside 5:40.
Remember all those Arkansas times they had to use those timeouts. They have one timeout left, so they are not going to stop the clock via the timeout. They're going to have to stop it.
Tony Allison, the latest player to have to leave. He banged up an ankle. Fine defensive tackle for Arkansas, so Scott Long is in on 2nd and 8.
Oh, I saw movement on the offensive guard.
Flag down, and so is Adrian Walker. He got drilled by Ben Floor.
Now was the flag thrown before the play. It looked as if the left guard, again, not being able to hear that snap count, you almost have to go when you see movement. That would have been Dwayne Miller, I believe. Oh, it's a dead ball off movement. Let's see if perhaps we can see that movement. Watch on the left of your screen, the second man from the center, the guard there. See if we see it. See the movement there?
That is Dwayne Miller, and just a hair early.
And I can understand it. You can't hear anything down there. We're shouting at each other up here.
I'm used to being shouted at. No problem. 6th Texas penalty. Arkansas only 3. The clock continues to roll, and we're just about at 5 minutes. Another big long yardage play for Peter Gardere. 2nd down and a long 12 at his own 42.
Well, this freshman quarterback hasn't made many mistakes today.
Here comes the rush. Going for Jones. Knocked away by Anthony Cooney. Flag is down again, however. Shannon Wright put the rush on Gardere. Anthony Cooney got the big deflection.
It's an ineligible downfield. That's not pass interference, which went through the hearts of all the Arkansas fans.
And McWilliams talked before the game about the youth on his team and the penalties, and a lot of them he felt were very needless penalties. Certainly at this time of the game, you can't afford any penalties.
No, you don't want to have a penalty like that. He's got such a young squad, and they are just at the brink of turning this whole thing around. Last week, you could see they just kind of mustered the exuberance about it, and then to come in and play such a fine football game, you don't want to make foolish mistakes. There's Ken Hackenmack.
He's out with that shoulder bruise.
That looks like it's up in the collarbone area, up in the top of the shoulder.
2nd straight Arkansas game that Hackenmack's been knocked out. They declined it, so 3rd and a long 12 with Jones and Walker both wide to the right. Rush comes, down goes Gardere. Bubba Barrow with the sack.
What a rush by Bubba Barrow. I want to tell you, they came out and blocked on him, and he literally leaped over top. Watch to the right of your screen. He leaps over top of the fence, over the offensive blocker, and comes down with his biggest play of the day.
His 3rd sack of the year, and Liljadal will have to kick it.
And he better get a good one.
He better. He's got the wind behind him, and this is a monster. Horton lets this drop, and it does get the Arkansas bounce, and they start from their 20-yard line.
A 63-yard punt.
4 minutes exactly remaining in Fayetteville, and the Hogs have time to try and pull it out. That is Jason Brandt in motion. This is Foster. And he's hit by Tommy Jeter and Shane Drunette. A good first down gain out across the 25-yard line, pick up of 5 yards. But look at the time, and you have to wonder how much Grovey can mix the run with the pass this drive.
Well, that's the first thing that jumps out and grabs you in that bottom right-hand corner is, can they run 10 or 15 running plays to get downfield, or will they have to, in fact, call on Quinn Grovey's arm?
Only one timeout. Remember that for Arkansas. Foster, only a couple. Boone Powell fell on him, and this sets up third down and at least 3.
And if you're Texas, you're excited about this. Let them keep it going, because that clock is now, before they run this play, that clock will be under 3 minutes. Again, they have one timeout. They've got to get a touchdown. Remember, they missed the 2-point conversion, so they've got to go all the way in for a score.
And the Texas successful 2-point conversion also looms pretty large here. 3 wideouts and the eye behind Grovey. And it is Foster. And for the first time this year, he has been stopped for a loss. He lost his footing at the 25.
Boy, what a play coming out. This is going to be 2.5 minutes when they get this. This is amazing.
Loss of about a half yard. Barry Foster. And Ken Hatfield has used his final timeout. Dave Barnett, Dave Rowe back in Fayetteville. Arkansas has just used their final timeout. They look at 4th down and 5. On 3rd down, a lot of fans through his career have been on Ken Hatfield for not throwing the ball. But he put the ball in his best ball carrier's hands, and it previously worked for a touchdown and almost 2 points.
Certainly did. Now it's going to be on the arm of Quinn Grovey, because I can't imagine them running in this situation. Look for the sprint out.
Derek Russell in motion. And it is the sprint out. And he can't find anybody. Grovey up the sideline, has the first down, and Arkansas is alive.
Boy, and they wanted the pile-on penalty there. It looked as if Grovey again is getting out of bounds and somebody hit him. But what a play by Quinn Grovey. Watch this. It's a sprint out action that gives you the run pass action. Now his linemen don't know that. He has to do this on his own. He has to avoid number 60. That's Brian Jones, the middle linebacker. Now there's where they wanted to hit. He's clearly out of bounds.
David McWilliams' defense before that play had held Grovey to 7 carries and -4 rushing yards, but he got 8 and the first.
He's got 65 yards to go. He's got 2 minutes and 25 seconds to do it.
Actually call it a gain of 10. And Grovey has Derek Russell, but he will lose. They immediately converged on him, and the clock continues to roll. Big play by Paul Bierman and Boone Powell.
Boy, now it is time. You have got to go downfield. You've got to get Horton coming on that crossing pattern. You got to come up with something to get downfield. We find Fillmore down there. He was open one time earlier. But it's time to abandon and find the pass.
Russell and Horton both wide to the right. Fillmore is to the left on play action. Grovey through Anthony Curl's hands. He got the first interception today, and he almost just sealed a win for Texas.
And that ball got out of Grovey's hands. Watch the way the ball comes off. You can see the ball really is not delivered. 2 Texas defenders right there. Again, watch Grovey here. See the way the ball goes right between the hands of Anthony Curl.
Well, he made a nice play to get his interception, but if Arkansas pulls this game out, he's going to dream about that one that got away.
Here's another man that's dreaming. He's thinking back a few years, too.
3rd and 13. Draw play for James Rouse. Nowhere near the first down. And the clock rolls at 1:35 and counting.
And another 4th down situation. 4th down and about 8 yards to go. Under 1.5 minutes. Wow.
Kept it on the ground to James Rouse, who hadn't handled the ball much, if at all, this second half.
I can't understand. You got to get up on the line and run a play, Arkansas.
Grovey, a lot of time. Here comes Dronette, and the ball is way over Tim Horton. And with 1:09 remaining, the celebration begins for the few Texas fans here and inside David McWilliams. Although McWilliams' face isn't going to show it. The pressure by a true freshman, Shane Dronette, may have caused Grovey to hurry just enough to overthrow Tim Horton. Our player of the game went 16 of 20 for 247 yards. Coors player of the game is Peter Gardere, the redshirt freshman from Houston Lee. who has continued to add to what is a growing Texas legend in just his first year and third game as a starter.
Cardiac kids. 3 wins, 3 starts, 3 wins. 2 of them almost unbelievable to come in here against an undefeated Arkansas team.
All 3 of them come from behind jobs. Had to do it against Rice. A lot of people wrote Texas off when that happened a couple of weeks ago. Look at this final. How about that for TCU over number 17 Air Force? TCU and Baylor next week. Clock rolls at 48 seconds here. And they talked about how the McWilliams program turned the corner against Oklahoma last week. Now they're starting to sprint up the sideline with this victory today. David McWilliams never lost to Arkansas as a player. Ken Hatfield lost on the last play of the game 2 years ago in Little Rock and had it down to his last offensive play before his chances ran out today. Well, there's a difference of about 1 second on the 2 clocks. Texas may have to snap it one more time. Game is over. And the Longhorns have won here in Fayetteville against the number 6 team in the nation.
So many different plays that were just unbelievable in this game. Blocked field goal. Going for 2 and not getting it. Going for 2 and getting it. Just amazing the number of things that happened today.
So Texas now in charge of the Southwest Conference race. They are 3-0. They dropped the Hogs to 2-1. Our final again in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The Longhorns